This is going to be a fun little time to spend together here. And we're going to talk about this new piece that I wrote, and I'm calling it Live Behind the Strings, about midnight in Venice, a little piece that I composed for Patty Clifford for her husband's birthday. And this is something I do. I compose vignettes based on what kind of music they like. I put all these different things together, their preferences, their dates of their anniversary, their birth dates, and I integrate that into a piece of music, a work of art that they can share with their family, enjoy for years to come. And I'm going to take this guitar, I'm going to pull up the video here, and let me know, first of all, where you're watching this from. It really helps me to know where, if you enjoy this kind of thing. And I'm pulling up the video here. I'm not going to play it yet, but let me know where you're watching this from. And if you want a tip, if you enjoy this, learning how I actually bring together a piece of music in out from the heavens or whatever, people that are interested in that kind of thing. So I've got my notes here. I've got Indian music, As Falls, Wichita Falls, Brian Wilson, Joe Dispenza, Lyle Mays, and Pat Metheny, Bolero. All are influences that intersected at some point or another to make their way into this piece of music, this piece of art that I'm pretty happy with. But when I write something, it's all getting in there and coming down, whether consciously or subconsciously. And I want to use these videos as an opportunity to kind of, for myself, to log what I'm doing and log what is working in my process of writing music again. I've had been on a break for about 15 years, not really writing anything up until about 2 years ago. And now I'm doing these individual pieces where I write for people's birthdays and anniversaries, and I'm going to release a full album of the first 12 or 13 of these pieces that I've written since December. And this is the most recent one. So just so you know, what I basically do is on this one, I've got the birth date and the anniversary of the couple. And a lot of times, mostly, I'll just take those and I'll put those numbers down and I'll use those numbers to come up with the chord progression. So the chord progression that I came up with real quick based on the birth date sounds like this. So, and then the couple's anniversary, I came up with this chord progression. So that is the harmonic underpinning. And Pat Metheny said something about harmony. Harmony is not that hard, but it's melody. It's really hard to put your finger on. It's really hard to like make rules about melody. But one of the things that I've been exploring Lyle Mays' website about, and he passed away a year ago. And like me, I'm very influenced by the classical composers that sort of write in a story into the music. A lot of what jazz is, the jazz is the improvisation part of music. So it's not necessarily, is that rain? A kind of music, but it's a way of coming up with music. So it's improvising. So a lot of jazz is you have an existing form, and you improvise over it. So what I did with this piece is I came up with a harmony, I came up with a melody, and then I improvised over the top of that form. But I wanted to create a sense of drama. I wanted to get away from just the standard jazz form, which is like head, solo, improvise, head. And I wanted to create something with more of a story, more drama. And that's what Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays worked on for so many years, is they want to bring the classical approach to composition with the jazz improvisation in there at the same time. And that has always influenced me. I am not so interested in doing this tired old formula, which is beautiful. Charlie Parker, Miles Davis did an incredible job doing that formula. I still play jazz music, but as far as creating my own music, I've been more interested in what Lyle Mays and Pat Metheny have done with the Pat Metheny group, which is, for instance, Lyle Mays even says that their piece, Are You Going With Me, was influenced by Bolero, Ravel's Bolero. And Bolero is basically this long journey that starts off really simple. It's like a caravan, and it grows and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you've got this melody that repeats over and over again. Well, if you listen to Pat Metheny's Are You Going With Me, that's a similar idea, but they do it with improvising and building with the improvisation. But there are some melodies and harmonies that kind of repeat, and they build up into this giant crescendo. So I like the idea of modeling a composition after a composer's technique, a composer's form that's been used in the past. And so on this piece, I've been listening to As Falls, Wichita Falls, and I love the sense of these long, held out or organ phrases, you know, where there's lots of space. So that was something that I went for in this little piece. Another thing is that I did a meditation. I woke up in the morning. I worked with the numbers to come up with a chord progression. Took the rest of the day off. Then I did a meditation, an hour-long Joe Dispenza meditation called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And in that meditation, he asked, what is the highest expression of yourself that you could be, and to imagine what that would be. And I wanted to write this piece, and something Brian Wilson had said was coming into me, which is music is essentially the voice of the heart. When it comes down to it, all these chords, all this theory, all this technique and stuff, yes, you can talk about music that way, but essentially it comes down to what does your heart want to say? So when I was in that meditation, he's asking, Joe Dispenza is saying, what is the highest expression of yourself? And I thought, I want melodies to come out of my heart when I write this piece. When I finish meditating, I want to get up, I'm going to grab that guitar, and I'm going to just see what comes up. So that's what I did. And I sat down, and honestly, one of the things I love about beautiful melodies, if you think of Bach, if you think of Beethoven, they're really simple. They use very simple seeds. And I've talked about this in past videos. If you think of Dvorak's New World Symphony, it's very simple. It's almost sing-songy. And you listen to a lot of Pat Metheny melodies or Lyle May's melodies or Indian melodies. I've been very influenced by Indian music in my meditations. So all of these things were coming to bear, pulling here, pulling there, pulling everywhere, and sort of navigating my heart and my brain through coming up with this piece. So I'm going to go through some of it, and I'm going to pull up the video right now so you can hear a little bit of it. So again, you're going to hear at the beginning, you're going to hear at the beginning a little bit of the melody, which I quoted solo guitar. So you'll hear the melody coming in like this. And so what I'm doing is I'm playing with these open strings, and I love that, playing the melody in sixths. But I've got this string open, and it's creating what we call a drone. So that sort of starts the mood, just a little quote, like a foreshadowing of the melody, you could say. And then I come in with the chord progression all by itself. And thinking about it, there's lots of things that I still want to adjust with it, because I did this for a birthday. I got it done, and I want to go back and re-record it with real musicians and do some different things with it. But I'm going to pull up just the beginning. You'll hear that quote of the main melody. And when I wrote that melody, it's just something that just came to me. I didn't think about it much. I just sat down and it was like, what could I write that's simple and is straight from the heart? And it just literally came to me. I wrote it down quickly, and the first phrase was this. Let's go back. And then I asked, like, well, what do I want to say after that? A lot of times I'll just sing over these chords, or I won't sing over the chords. I'll just sing whatever my heart or my ear is hearing, and quickly get that down. And if it feels right, if it feels like it's speaking to me, then I'm just going to go with it. So, and then sometimes if I'm coming up with nothing, if I have like writer's block, then I might use a little theory to get my ear going, or I might use a reference, or I might think of something else, like what was that Indian melody I heard? You know, I'll get more into this, but let me just play a little bit of the piece that I recorded, and you'll hear that progression. Okay, so right there's the chord progression based on the birth date of the person I wrote this for. Those chords, their functionality is based on the numbers of his birthday. It has a very evocative feeling. And one of the things I did, I'm going to pause this here, was that I took footage from pexils.com, which is free footage. They had visited Italy and Venice. They were fans of traveling, oceans. So I edited these ocean images, which really worked well with the music. And then, so next thing you'll hear is the main melody come in. And I actually changed it from the original what I had written because my ear wanted to go a different way. I decided to just follow my ear. Where does my ear want to go? And again, Brian Wilson said, you know, it's essentially music is coming from the heart. And so this whole first section is just melodies that were just coming to me that seemed like they had something to say. There was some voice in me that just had come out of nowhere. I just wrote them down really quick. Actually, I was going to show you the music here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, well, I won't pull up the music, but okay. So that whole first section based on the birthday. Then we come into a new section, and those numbers are based on the couple's anniversary date. So thanks for coming. If you just joined us, I'm Will Taylor. Would love your comments about what you think of this. And for this section, I do more of a kind of this progression. Which it had a little bit of a Indian flavor to it. And so then I think like, gosh, Indian music, it's amazing how many melodies Indian musicians can just spin from one scale. And how does it, they can just go on and on. So then I kind of put myself like, okay, what would be in a simple melody? So I came up with this melody. And then this. And it sounds kind of Indian, right? So that's for that next section. And then the third section isn't based on any numbers at all, it's just a transitory section. So, but I took the original melody and I transposed it up a whole step. So, okay, let's listen to a little bit more. Right there, it's based on the anniversary date. The chords are with the Indian-like melody right here. And here's section 3 with, let's pause there for a second. So that melody is the original melody up 2 steps. So it's just recycling the same material, but putting it into a different context so it sounds like it's different. That's what Beethoven did a lot. A lot of composers do that. They take very simple phrases and they recycle them, turn them upside down, do different things. And to the listener, it sounds like, oh, we're in a different place. We're in a different place now. We're building up into a new section. And then it kind of opens up. Okay, so right there, we hit a new chord. It's like a major chord, sounds like this. And what I did there is I just wanted to build a sense of drama, of going somewhere, going to a new horizon, maybe opening up with some more joy. But what I did was I brought back the original chord progression. You'll hear it, the exact same key and everything. So I go like this, and then I go. which is, and it's the exact same progression at the top, but with the first chord being a different chord. Quality, it's a major chord. At the top, it was a minor chord. Now it's a major, but I do the exact same chord progression, and I have these kind of long string lines happening and improvise over that. And then it simmers down again, and then I go back to the top, play all the material again, and then I just improvise on top of that same material. Now, when I just record this again, I have a kind of a longing to have that melody, original melody, speak more, because I don't think it got enough time. So when I do it again, I'm gonna have that melody, the main melody, because I think it's really beautiful melody. So anyway, that was a little bit on this new piece. And if you want a piece like it, you can contact me, will@willtaylor.com, or you become a patron at patreon.com/willtaylor. So we talked about Indian music influencing me. That's in that second section. We talked about S Falls, Wichita Falls. If you listen to that by Pat Metheny, you'll hear a lot of the influence on this piece. Joe Dispenza, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I did a meditation and put that energy right into this piece. Lyle Mays and Pat Metheny, how they were inspired by classical composers. Instead of recycling the old jazz, which is the old jazz way of playing the head and soloing in the head, Lyle Mays and Pat Metheny wanted to build more drama by using more classical composition, developing more dynamics that are more intentional dynamics that were actually written into the piece. And then they would have sections open for improvisation. So that would be the jazz parts of the music. And I talked about how Lyle Mays wrote one of their pieces based on the idea of Ravel's Bolero. So, and also the idea that you can create melodies and create music by taking really small seeds and recycling them, putting them in different contexts, and you can get a lot of material out of just doing that. So I'm off to play Strings in the Woods, and I'm gonna play the rest of this piece for you while you're here. Let me know what you thought of this, and please click the subscribe or the like or make comments below. That helps propagate this music to more people, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these soon. So I hope you enjoyed this new piece of music that I've written, and here I'll let you enjoy the rest of it. Have a great day, everybody.